whether it be the day that you file versus the day that it ends. But to your point, everybody that's going to file for office knows it's the stay, so if you don't file the first day, you can't be too upset.
When it ends. That way everybody gets the same start day.
But that's what I'm saying, but
If you
even
wanna put
if-
it out, fine, if you don't, that's up to you.
Right, but I mean, potentially everybody could have the start date because everybody could file for office the same day. I'm just saying.
No, I mean, when the filing ends.
No, I know, but Councilmember Martin was saying the day you file. So,
Oh, I see, I'm sorry, I missed it, I was.
but that's what I'm saying, everybody has the same opportunity to file the day that it opens, so. But like I said, those are things, but again, it's a lot, the ordinance is a lot more in depth than just the political signs, so.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, because we've got some big signs, and the city needs to address detail.
The cost of these signs nowadays, that's what?
That's all there is to it.
But so, Monique, as far as the general consensus there, then the general consensus is the day filing ends or the day you file?
They've already
filing
There's a
much difference there. The day the filing
Let's
is.
go 90 days and go with that.
I think that's way too long. Way too long.
Well, let's see, when is filing, we go from, I can't think of it yet, February to what? January to February, right?
Yes, right.
So you have
It
March.
was January 18th to February 15th, I think.
That'll be about 40 days, 45.
March, April, that's 60 days.
Right.
So
But 90 days would be, there's not 90 days between the filing
No, it's not.
Right.
with that.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
there's.
the voting
It's
of the
pretty
file.
close.
At best.
Oh, that's the middle of February, so that's 14, it's 28 days. So that's 14 days, and then 60? That's 74, that's a pretty good stretch. And that's a pretty good stretch right there, 74 days, what do you think? How good are they?
It's better than 20, put it that way.
Yeah, I guess I'd say, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, though. I understand what you're saying, but you go again with what Texas is, what Bear County is, and why allow them in here?
I don't think we had it before, have we?
They have a hurry.
I don't think we've been there before, Mike, they've been told.
They can't come in here and do it.
I've seen them.
They can, I mean, they have, they're not supposed to, I mean, the sign should be removed, but, and,
I was gonna say, oh, the wife picks them up, takes them to the station, calls them, tell them, go get your sign. So in other words, it's the same for everybody, county, what, here's the thing, I mean, when it's an all-out election in the county, it's a big one, we can get it, and that's why they did it, honestly, that's why they cut it so short. But I wouldn't mind lengthening it a little bit, I can understand what you're saying.
I don't think we should go more than 30.
Oh, yeah, that's too much. See, you can buy the signs, so you don't have to worry about it. When you spend $400 or $500 or more,
We're
you don't see your signs out there.
You're trying to help me for me? I'm not gonna spend no money next year either. North side.
all right,
It
so
don't bother me.
the general consensus is the day that you file versus the ending date, so.
So the person files on day one, they can put their signs out that same day, the other people. So we would have to specifically say the day you file.
Right.
Okay.
If that's, I mean, that's what you're
Yeah,
saying,
I think that's
Councilmember,
what it is.
correct? Okay.
It's gonna get interesting.
But again, I still think that there should be something in there that also talks about the way that your sign looks specifically, because again, it's going to be faded, it's going to be torn, regardless of whether you have foam board or what have
I'll tell you what's ironic, if you drive down 78, have you seen that sign for the current sheriff?
Yes, I have.
I can't believe some of his officers haven't told him what's been done to that sign.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
All right. Is there any more discussion on this one?
No.
All right. We will move to item 8E, discussion and possible action on appointment of a member to the Planning and Zoning Commission. We currently have one vacancy. Don't have any applications in front of me. If anybody's interested in serving on planning and zoning, you can fill out an application for consideration of appointment. Item F, discussion of possible action on appointing up to 4 alternate members to the Buildings and Standards Commission. There are currently 4 alternate vacancies. If anybody's interested, you can fill out an application for consideration of appointment. G, discussion of possible action on appointment of members to the Beautification Recycle Committee. There are currently 3 vacancies for that board, if anybody's interested. Again, you can fill out an application for consideration of appointment. We've already done H, so we will move to I. Discussion of possible action on City of Kirby 2021 pool season, COVID guidelines and fees.
Whatever you say is fine. I'm good.
So you have in your packet an email that I received from our pool management company. They said it's basically up to each individual entity this year as to how they'd like to handle these questions. And so we need answers to these so that I can inform them of how Kirby wants to move forward with our pool season. So, you know, the first thing that they ask is that, you know, are we going to continue to operate under a modified maximum capacity? So remember last year we were open at a 25% maximum capacity because there were more CDC protocols and state health requirements at that time. Now we know, you know, Texas is open at 100%. So the question is, do you want the city of Kirby pool to be open at maximum capacity this season? And the season typically starts Memorial Day weekend. So we will open that weekend and we're open through Labor Day weekend.
Have we ever hit maximum capacity?
Yes.
That's your know.
I think it should be maximum capacity.
I think so too.
How many is maximum capacity?
A little under 2,000.
I knew somebody was going to ask me that.
I want to see the fire marshal get on his swimming pool. That would be fun.
Let me find that, because in the water, there's a capacity in the water, and then there's a capacity in the building, so.
You talking about the building here?
We're talking about period.
It's like 100 and something.
No, not for the building.
But I do think in the water, it exceeds 100 people. I just don't remember the exact number, but it does exceed.
Oh,
Yeah, because 25% capacity is 60 people.
yeah.
So if you
Good
go to
time.
maximum capacity,
240.
you're looking at 240 in the water.
Oh, it's a bad joke. Oh, that's the worst joke in the world.
I'm not sure, I mean, so I understand the state already is open up 100%, but 240, that's a lot of people together with COVID still going on. There's gonna be no social distancing, I mean, you can't, I mean, that would just tie into the next question. Obviously, if you have maximum capacity, how can you social distance at all? There's no possible way.
And we in the water. Those kids with cars.
Well, there's no social distancing at the deep end, that's for sure. You stand over your head.
Everything's gonna be there for you, man.
So what you're saying, what would you think would be fair? 75%?
I would even go, I would go, I would even feel better with 75. I just think that's just a lot of
No,
people.
you're right.
That's a lot of people. With COVID still going on, I think it's a lot.
Let's go with 75, I'm fine, it don't matter.
75 works. Yeah.
General consensus?
No, we're just getting 75% for just the pool, or 75% for the pool to include the
It's
building?
gonna be period, so that means they would limit, you know, the number of people going in the building at one time to 75%. They limit, you know, in the pool period to 75%. So that's what we're all agreeing on.
It's looking that way.
I think so.
Take-
It's looking on the safe side, to me, instead of being just white. Because we can modify, we have the opportunity to change it if things improve. if, you can't go downhill, I mean uphill, you can always go down with it, so really, yeah, I think that would be the smart thing. I think.
Because like you said, we can revisit, like, so let's say the numbers from the CDC and all that change,
Everything
we
works.
can change it and go back to 100%, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so general consensus for
Yes,
75%.
so it should.
Okay,
Yes, so it should.
So will social distancing be recommended, required with patrons not in the same household?
Well, common sense would break, I would think. Because if you have, like, one family brings in 5 kids, you gotta kind of figure out where it's going.
Personally, I don't know how you would implement that.
You can't, it's pretty much, no. That's why 75% will probably work better, because you've got, a little more opportunity spread.
Yes or no?
I'm all for encouraging, but that's just, I like the word encourage, but.
I think that's the job, well, I
I want
will
to
take.
encourage social
Encourage
distancing,
social
but I
distancing.
mean, realistically.
Yeah,
I mean, you have kids, like, you're on sit down.
and it's just, kids just don't get that. A 6-year-old goes, what?
So will masks be required when not in the pool?
Whoa.
I'm a no.
Now that is a good one.
I think it's at the gate.
It's at the gate. I mean, they didn't really specify, but I guess my thought process went to, or not when you're talking about outside of the pool, but when you're talking about, I guess, when you're going to get into the restroom or to the concession stand. I can't, but I don't know if they may have meant both. It doesn't really say.
Maybe you should call
I
it.
say it's at the 75% capacity. That's just
And
my
they
opinion.
also said that it is, our option, because I asked the question, I said, are you talking about patrons and the employees? And they said that is the city's option. So if the city says their employees have to wear masks, so they would comply with that. If you say they don't, they would comply with that. That's also our option. So I think we need to answer that for both patrons, guests, and the staff, pool staff.
Good question. Because, you get little ones running around, because they always do it, they're in the water for like 5 minutes, they run the bomb, they get something to drink, and they're back and forth.
I'm sorry, but if you wear it like this anyway, it's not.
Or you wear it like this one, where I mean,
Again,
yeah.
that's number